20,000 Georgia teenagers have obtained a driver's license without taking the road test. And a woman was arrested after calling 911 to report her crotch is on fire. And LA County jail inmates are trying to intentionally infect themselves with coronavirus. These are the weird stories for Monday. This is Weird AF News. I'm your host, Jonesy. Thank you for joining me. This is the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian. I have 3 weird stories from around the country. Let's get into it. 20,000 Georgia teenagers have got a driver's license without taking a road test. Ooh, who wants to be a pedestrian in Georgia right now? Not me. The coronavirus has changed practically everything about our daily life. We know that. Well, the impacts of the pandemic have often been ugly and very frightening. Remember that time that the quarantine people had to stay in an abandoned haunted house? Well, for nearly 20,000 teenagers in Georgia, another side effect of this madness has come about, and that is it's so easy to obtain a driver's license in Georgia. According to the media, 19,483 teens have just turned their learner's permit into a driver's license, making the roads in Georgia the most dangerous in all the land, I assume. It didn't say that in the article, I just added it. They were given a driver's license without taking a road test in the weeks since the state allowed people to get their licenses entirely online. Now, I know you can get some things online, and it's okay to get some things online. But there are other things not okay to get online, like a driver's license, probably. Is my guess, right? There should be a road test for that, I would say. Maybe the firefighter test, What about an airline pilot? Yeah, that shouldn't happen all online either. Although I know they do those simulation training for pilots, but I mean, to do it all online, no. You need the road test at the end of the day. It says here that the youth will still have to meet all the other requirements to obtain a license in Georgia, just not the road test. Or what are those other requirements? You got to be 16 years old? Wow, difficult, these requirements. Well, they do a written test, I'm sure. You need to have the road test. Are you out of your mind, Georgia? Here's a quote from Jennifer. She says, "We don't have enough to worry about. Now we have inexperienced teens on the road behind the wheel." And I agree with Jennifer. We don't have enough to worry about with a pandemic, and now we got to worry about these inexperienced teenagers. Somebody named Kendra had a good attitude about this. She said, "I'm good with the dropping the road test piece so that my daughter can get out there and drive. Oh, yeah, so your little precious can get out there and run over somebody on a Vespa or a scooter or a pedestrian. As long as Kendra's daughter gets her license, who cares? Who cares, right?" Oh, boy. So what brought this about? Well, apparently, since the onset of the crisis, there's a backlog of 30,000 teenagers waiting to get a chance to take their license test. So, yeah, just open it up. That's no problem. Just hand them out free. Why not? Just don't even make them do anything. Just give it to them. Somebody named Spencer, who's the commissioner of the DDS, Department of Driver Services, says that what this does, it allows the teen driver to go to that next phase without having to take that road test because of social distancing problems. Obviously, and you have social distancing problems in trying to provide the test. Well, can't you work around that, Spencer? Can't the guy sit in the back seat when he's giving him the road test or something? I don't know. Do it in a parking lot. Set up some cones like they do with a motorcycle test, Just have the guy stand on the side of the road and give instructions through a walkie-talkie or a cell phone. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here. And by the way, these kids, why can't they just wait to get their license? Is that too revolutionary of an idea? Just because you're eligible to get a driver's license doesn't mean you have to go out and get one immediately. You can kind of wait a little bit. Who cares if you're 17 when you get it or 18? Where are you going right now, Georgia teenagers? The last I checked, the movie theaters aren't open. Where are you going? The bowling alleys are closed. There's no boba places that you can drive to, as far as I know. I don't know. Maybe they've opened it up. Either way, you don't need to be driving. It's not an absolute need right now. Maybe you need to, I don't know. Maybe you use a vehicle to go get laid. I understand. Been there, okay? But why don't you just find a cave, okay? Go old school with it. You don't need a car to get laid in. Go get a cave like we used to do back in the day. And if you happen to be in Georgia, I'm sorry, but get off the road, guys. Just get the hell off the road. This is worse than alligator mating season, what's going on in the roads in Georgia, I'll tell you. But let me ask you, weirdos, is this okay? Should these kids have to take the road test, or is just an online driver's license test okay with you? I'd like to know. Maybe you're super progressive. Call me up, 646-450-2012. A woman was arrested after calling 911 and reporting a fire in her crotch. Well, in her defense, maybe she's a redhead, and maybe there really is a fire in her crotch. I don't know. Although I'm looking at a photo of her. Nope, not a redhead. An Ohio woman was placed under arrest after she reportedly called 911 to ask for some help extinguishing a fire in her crotch. Her name is Katrina Morgan. Yep, this fiery bush. Age 50, she called the police in Port Clinton at 10 p.m. on Saturday to falsely report her pasha. Her P word was ablaze. Her pasha was ablaze. It was ablaze. I hope she used the word ablaze. My pasha is ablaze. I just love that word, ablaze. You can't call 911 and report your P word as ablaze, can you? Morgan asked the police if the fire department's, quote, hose was working. Is your hose working? Because my P word is ablaze. I need somebody to come put it out with their hose, according to the affidavit. Police arrived to find Morgan at her friend's home, where she and others had been, oh, guess what? They've been drinking. Playing some drinking games and playing with their smartphone. Were they playing with her? What up? The cops moved to arrest Morgan for false reports. Ooh, yeah, how dare you? False reports. And disrupting police operations. Morgan, during the arrest, became agitated and yelled at the police officers, as you can imagine. Here's a woman who just pranked 911 about her fiery thing between her legs. So she only relented when an officer threatened her with a stun gun, apparently. Ooh, did they stun her in the crotch? I wonder. Hey, your crotch, you want your crotch to be on fire, Morgan? I gotcha. Morgan faces these charges of making false alarms, disrupting, resisting, disorderly stuff. Her friends during police questioning denied seeing Morgan on the phone. We didn't see her on the phone. We didn't. Oh, that'll get her off. Hey, you should probably let her go because we didn't see her on the phone. By the way, just saying. Just saying. Hey, in Morgan's defense, all right? Look it. She's bored, all right? We're all social. It doesn't sound like she's socially isolated. She's with a group of people. But, they're all quarantined. Maybe they're very, very bored. What else are you going to do? You're drunk. You have a smartphone. You make prank calls. We all made prank calls as children, right? It was a fun time, right? I never called 911 and told them that my ass was on fire, but, But I have made my share of prank calls in life. I made a lot of prank calls to Floridians, and I put those up on my Patreon, by the way. You should check those out. There's some pretty funny pranks in there. But in all, and the reality is you can't be bugging 911 right now. It's a very crucial time for 911 because we're dealing with a pandemic, and they're probably understaffed, okay? In general, they're understaffed. And right now, these services are needed for the people who are really in trouble and that are really ill. And so you can't be tying up the phone lines, Morgan, with tales of your fiery crotch, I'm sorry to say. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Los Angeles County inmates are trying to intentionally infect themselves with coronavirus in prison, a sheriff says. Inmates in LA County jails are trying to infect themselves with the coronavirus. A video and evidence gathered inside the facilities show. Sheriff Alex Villanueva presented this. The video shows inmates drinking from a container contaminated by an inmate infected with COVID-19, then hiding it as part of a scheme to get released. I didn't know you got released if you had it in jail. I thought they just kept you in there. Didn't seem like the jails to me were really taking care of the sick, but maybe they are. So if you get it, you're put into a hospital? How does this work? Anybody know? What a cockamamie plan to get the virus to get the hell out of prison. I guess it's pretty bad in these LA County jails, I gotta say. I mean, it must be real bad if you're willing to risk your life, nearly die, get the COVID to get the hell out of there. What a strange situation that must have been. A bunch of inmates standing around having a COVID drinking party. Shots of Corona here. Shots of Corona. Here's a quote from this guy, Villanueva. He says, it is dismaying to realize anyone would intentionally infect themselves. Well, Villanueva, you run the prisons. You know that this is like people don't want to be in there. Okay. They do things like break out. Did you not see the Shawshank? This whole scheme was captured on video, according to officials. It was discovered by a trustee inmate who came across a stash of items that inmates believed would give them the virus that leads to the disease. Since the start of the pandemic, about 360 inmates have tested positive for COVID-19 inside LA County jails. Sheriff's officials have instituted a new protocol to test all new inmates regardless of symptoms to better control the spread in the facilities. That's lovely. You should test them all on the way in. I didn't get tested when I entered the U.S. from Japan. I thought that was weird. I mean, it's just very arbitrary who's testing and who isn't. Apparently, this guy Villanueva has tried to help out with the pandemic. He's reduced the jail population. As of Friday, the jails, which typically house 17,000 people, held 11,723 inmates. And this seems very alarming to me. Villanueva, where are the other 5,000 inmates? Sir, I want a tally, okay? I want to take their attendance, please. I'd like to know where they are in LA County. 5,000 inmates, you just let them go? Hey, guys, there's a virus, and we ain't got room for you. We need 6 feet between people, so just, I don't know, just get your stuff and get out of here. Just, I'll pretend I didn't see you. Just run out the door. I'm going to leave it open for a little while. Let's see who runs out. I'm going to pretend I didn't see it. Despite releasing 5,000 inmates, some critics contend that LA County has not done enough. I think releasing 5,000 is enough. A recent class action lawsuit claims inmates are not being tested even when they show symptoms. And there's lack of sufficient space for physical distancing. One lawsuit claims inmates don't even have enough soap or a safe way to dry their hands. There is even a report on one dormitory at a men's central jail where 100 people are housed in bunks that are only 3 feet apart. My goodness, what's going on? Just let them go. Release them. Just put them out. What's wrong with you? I can't believe they released him. I still can't. And the article just glosses over it, that there's 5,000 inmates. Just where do they go? I don't understand. And what a strange solution. Well, we don't have enough hand sanitizer. Why don't you let a few thousand out of here? We're out of soap. Just let them go. I mean, in what world is this okay? Maybe I'm missing something here. Please fix me. Fix me, somebody. If you like podcasts, check out Spotify. You can listen to all your favorite artists and podcasts in one place for free. You don't even need a premium account. Spotify has a huge selection of podcasts on every topic, including this one that you're listening to right now. And you can easily share what you're listening to with friends on Instagram as well. So download the Spotify app, search for your favorite podcast, and also make sure to follow Weird AF News and never miss an episode. Yes, download Spotify and make your life easier. Yay! Hey, what's up, weirdos? Thanks for listening to another episode of Weird AF News. Please share the podcast with a friend or a foe. I would so appreciate that. Leave a review if you'd like. That would be helpful. I want to give a shout out to Jessica Keene, who wrote me on Facebook. She said, "Hey, Jonesy, I listen to your podcast every day. I start my day with the news and I end with you when I'm getting ready in the morning, and it puts me in such a better mood, makes me forget all that other stuff." She's also a teacher. She teaches kids. Way to go, Jessica. It's very dangerous being a teacher right now, I'd say, unless you're teaching from home via Zoom, which I hear some people are doing. Imagine having a class through Zoom. Imagine taking a class through Zoom like that. A bunch of kids, that'd be wacky. Any teachers out there? I tell you, I give a big shout out to you. The teachers and nurses out there. There's a lot of occupations that I tell you right now. Oh boy. I mean, much love to these people. Support. Show all the support you can. The dangerous occupations that involve the public usually, and of course, if you're treating patients, my goodness, I mean, my love goes out to the the nurses and doctors and staff at hospitals and whatnot. I can't imagine what they're going through. But I give a shout out to all the teachers as well. Thank you, Jessica, for reaching out. You guys can always reach me. On Facebook, it's Comedian Jonesy. On Instagram, it's at Funny Jones. On Twitter, at Funny Jones. And I have an email as well, funnyjones@gmail.com. Feel free to hit that up. As the kids say, hit that up anytime. I left a phone number in case you feel frisky as well. And lastly, I just want to pimp out. Yeah, I want to pimp it out. Yeah, I got the youth vernacular going. I want to pimp out my Patreon, patreon.com/weirdafnews, where I just posted another weird thing that you should watch. Yeah, very strange. It's a documentary, of course. I just can't get over these weird documentaries. There's more weird documentaries than weird regular films, I think. Unbelievable documentaries out there these days. I'm really into it. If you happen to come across a very strange documentary that you would like me to check out, please feel free to email that to me, funnyjones@gmail.com. But join the Patreon because there's some other things on there that I've put out there for for those of you who are bored and you want to sort of take in some weird media. That's a place to go. Patreon.com/weirdafnews. Enjoy a bonus episode where it's not just me. It's me and a friend that's usually funnier than me. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. It was fabulous today. Thank you for being here.